Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. I'm doing card of the day. And I'm thirsty. Thirsty ho. I'm using the Lucy Cavendish Blessings deck. And I'm still not sure if I want my main card to be from this or from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which I also pulled out. I think I want it to be from this one, but I'm also going to pull from this. So we're going to have a card of the day with extended with some extra cards. Alright, so let me get a card. I did already clear and shuffle these decks. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to shuffle these, I'm supposed to get a card. I was thinking about my chapbook packs that I've been working on more this week. I bought a pack that had 200 envelopes in it, and I've gone through like maybe 90% of them. Come on. When I was shuffling these, they kept flying out all over the place. I didn't even get them over to the table all the way, and I had two of them fall on the floor. Alright. Three of Pentacles or Earth or whatever. This is like a third time I've had a squirrel synchronicity this week. Alright, so he's planting. It looks like he's bleeding from the center of his hand into the earth. This green guy here. He looks like a page. A youth. And it looks like a really chunky squirrel nutkin there. Alright. It's a knight. Interesting. But it's the 3. Alright. I'm going to leave that for a minute. I want to see what comes out of this deck. My sense is that this is a full moon ritual. Today being 3/9. Both the 3 and the square. Okay, what is this? I'm going to put those back. I'm not feeling that. I'm going to warm this up a little bit. If they come back out, that's fine, but I don't feel like it's very clear right now. I think also it's because Mercury has gone direct today, even though there's going to be that post-shadow crap. A lot of... noticed at least a couple incidences of me and someone else having like a wrong order. Okay. A blessing on the children. Alright, so here we have, this is number 11 as well. It's not the 411, it's the 311. But look at this. The 3 1s here, it's like 2 11s mashed together. And then we have a single 11 on this card. A blessing on the children. This is a little baby unicorn here. So she's got a furry little animal, and he's got a furry little animal. She's also out here at night. She's definitely got the full moon there. She's got transformative butterflies, and she's dressed for the night. They both have these flowers around them as well. She's got dark gloves on. And he's the one who's bleeding. That's interesting, because usually it's the women who bleed with the lunar cycle. I definitely see this as masculine and feminine energy still, with that ebb and flow back and forth. I almost get this, oh, okay. She's like the Empress. Sort of fecundity. The Empress at night. And this is like, this guy is like a dryad, but he, instead of being like like a wood nymph, he's like a dude. He's like an entity. So he's giving, like, he's giving masculine energy in a feminine suit. And he's giving life force into the ground. He's setting the plans in motion. He's setting the plants in motion as well. It's sort of a pun. Usually the Three of Pentacles is the architectural plans, building a cathedral kind of stuff. But here, it's like the squirrel has found his little nut stash, but this guy's like, no, I'm gonna take one of these and you can eat the other one, but we're gonna nurture it with something it can eat, like a little seed vampire, and plant it deep in the ground, and it's gonna grow up to be this new institution, this new I see it. I mean, I know it's an acorn, so it's going to be an oak, but think about it being like a giant redwood where it's so huge, it's like a building unto itself. You could carve a tunnel into it and like have a house for an adult human. It's but it's also like a cathedral because it's part of that natural wonder. I want another one of these. I also see this as a new frontier of the masculine self-nurturing, which is another aspect of coming out of distorted masculinity, where it's a complete lack of nurturing, where the only acceptable mode is fight, kill, aggress. And here, Morrigan's blessing of peace after battle. $46. So that's a 10. That's completion. That's right before the 11. So the children, that's like nurturing your inner child. That's gaining insight. And here we have an active crown. Okay, so she's this ancient war goddess, and her buddies here, the attempted murder. This is that battle. Constant aggression. Distorted masculinity. This is the peace. This is the regrowth. This is the nurturing. I also see this is 10 and 3, that's 13, that's a death cycle. It's burial, and then something growing up out of it new. That's that womb, that tomb and womb duality. It's like a new frontier, like Star Trek. To boldly go where no man has gone before. Okay, so blessing of the earth. These cards don't really have reversals, but I also feel like the Morrighan and this earth lady are coming out because it's been such a long, strenuous battle for the masculine energy to learn what it's like to be distorted, so that when they come back to balance, they understand what it means to be in balance, by having been in the other extreme. It's like, so this is 1. This is, again, this is that new start. So we have 10 and 1, that's the 11 there. So it's like Earth Goddess, and it's like a Life Goddess, Death Goddess, and they do that like and then they melt together, and now they're the Empress. So we're in that way, she's dark, and she knows the night, but she also is transformative and abundant and is nurturing. And in that way, she is the mirror, which is probably why those cards came out upside down. Because when I saw this like this, I did think mirror, but I didn't say it. And I'm not just saying it now, I actually literally thought mirror. She's mirroring what's going on with the masculine energy. In some ways, that feminine energy has to, because there's always going to be a reflection of her in him with that little percentage. So let me get another card. Okay. Holy mother of crap. Alright, that's a lot of cards. So this one is perception, but I at first read it as reflection. This is 21, which in normal tarot would be the world. But this deck is a little different. It has more major arcana. So I don't know whether this is male or female. It looks like there's an Adam's apple, but everything else looks mostly feminine. So here I would say this is the united being, that neuter, well, not neuter, but the combined higher being that never had to be separated. Having been separated and then balanced, understands what both the energies mean. And again, this is happening in the night, in the darkest, undercover of the darkest night. And we have this sort of truth here. And it says perception. Now this is a major arcana, but Swords is perception, and we have this airy flight here. So not only is the third eye open for perception, but there's wings across the normal eyes, indicating that both hemispheres of the brain, the male and the female, are conjoined and working together and lit up like fucking Christmas. And literally wings, because perception is something that happens in that air element. I'm gonna look up that Rolling Stones song. I knew I was gonna have to look up a song again today. The Rolling Stones. Oh, I always forget to type in lyrics. God damn it! I was trying to get this done before midnight. Ooh. Ooh. Hear the screams from Center 42. And you know what's funny? What the fuck is it? When I pulled out 46, I really wanted to say 42, the answer to everything. And then I was like, crap, that's 46, not 42. Hear the screams from Center 42, loud enough to bust your brains out. The opposition's tongue is cut in two. Keep off the streets 'cause you're in danger. 100,000 disparos lost in the jails in South America. Curl up, baby, curl up tight. Curl up, baby, keep it all out of sight. Undercover. Keep it all out of sight, under cover of the night. So the sex police are out there on the streets. Make sure the past laws are not broken. The race militia has got itchy fingers all the way from New York back to Africa. All the young men they've rounded up, sent back to camps back in the jungle. And people whisper, people double talk. Once their fathers act so humble, all the young girls, they have got the blues. They're heading back onto Center 42. So I don't know what Center 42 actually means. It must have been something that was like known at the time that this song was written. But just in general, 42 is well known from Douglas Adams. Down in the bars, the girls are painted blue, done up in lace, done up in rubber. The Johns are jerky little G.I. Joes on R&R from Cuba and Russia. The smell of sex, the smell of suicide, all these things I just can't keep inside. And it says, undercover, keep it all out of sight, under cover of the night. And then that just repeats. So that song really is heavily based in what we see in a society that's dominated by distorted masculine energy. What's commonly referred to as the patriarchy. The sort of boys gone wild energy, but it's not cute and it's not fun. No, it's the way that I want to think about it is that there's a reason that we spent a couple thousand years in that mode of behavior. And it's kind of like if you are somebody who grows up repressed, you may well get to a point in your life where you go to an extreme and you act out. You behave badly, you go a little crazy. You see it actually in the Amish community. They will have a thing, at least some of the time from what I've seen, where someone gets to be like 18 and they're allowed to leave their community and go out and live life like normal, to test it out and make sure that they're like ready to fully commit to the lifestyle. And some people just, it's like Thirsty Thursday at a party college for months and months or whatever. But that's kind of the extreme. It's like you go from being extremely confined to like the complete polar opposite, or it's like you know, somebody who's very sexually repressed might flip a switch and go out and try to experience as many sexual things as they possibly can. It's the nature of opposites that keeps knowledge and movement going forward. So in some ways you could say that either masculine energy had gotten into a bottleneck like 4,000 years ago where they felt scared or confused or repressed in some way and reacted by going completely mental and doing every, like, practicing every conceivable I don't want to say torture. It's like, what is the logical like, what is the most extreme thing you could push yourself to do, and then what can you do beyond that? It's like a series of steps testing the limits. It's not just like, oh, let me try this idea and see what happens by accident. It's a series of set linear milestones expanding basically power and not considering consequences. And I did talk about that like the origin of that the fear or insecurity or confinement that would drive a masculine collective energy into distortion when I did my astrological age readings. And I do have a playlist for those. And it's also not to excuse it or to say that, you know, hundreds of millions of people over thousands of years that had suffered because of that modality, you know, is not to say that people didn't suffer from it. It's to say that, you know, we're starting to be at a point in history where we can move away from it and know that, having experienced that extreme, we know what it means and what it does on a very visceral and three-dimensional level, so that we don't have to have a hole where that knowledge could be. It's the information has been recorded, you know, the tests have been the hypotheses and the papers have been peer reviewed in terms of toxic masculinity and thousands of years of competitive patriarchy. And I think, you know, I think people are ready to move on, and it's all about perception and beginning to nurture what masculine energy actually can be in a grounded, centered place. Now, the other cards that came out, Six of Pentacles, but inverted. So this is sort of like the mirror double. In the upright, it would be that it would be nurturing to other people. It would be that masculine energy at its balanced heart center. But it's like, we're not quite there yet. Don't put the cart before the horse. And this guy's wearing a yoke, so you know he's been dragging a burden for quite a while. He's like this guy's jaded older brother who's like, nah, man, it's not worth it. Stop. Like, why are you planting a tree when it's only going to be strapped to your back if you don't cut the other guy first? And he's not as green as his little brother. He's lost his connection to nature. He's been imprisoned by his own fears, essentially. Where this guy is still I would say still childlike, still innocent enough to, or in spite of everything, he's saying, I choose innocence and nurturing. I choose to be at that 3 instead of forcing my way into a 6. I've also got the 5 of Pentacles. So here is that 11 again. 11. This is like, this guy, it's like the same guy. It's like after thousands of years, this guy gets more to one extreme. He's like, no, I'm not green, I'm going red. And I've got aces up my sleeve because I'm going to win. But the reality of 5 of Pentacles is that you're always left like holding the bag. You're always missing out on something. It's that FOMO. This mofo is FOMO, and his feminine energy is like completely fucked off over here. Alright, so I also got the Counselor, but it came out in reverse. So this is the Water Knight, number 12. So let's say it's the Hanged Man, waiting for that emotional download. But it's definitely there. It's like a cautionary tale. And it's sort of like 11, 12. And then, right, so she's 11. This other one here brings 12. And that's this Counselor, but it was upside down. But 12 in, like, sort of in reverse, when you flip the digits, if it's in the Arabic numerals, is 21. So it's kind of like saying, you've got to sit. This guy's literally tied to the tree. It's like the hangman that was like, screw this, I'm walking off even though I'm still tied to the tree, which is 6. He's half done. He's like, fuck it, I'm out. This guy, he's at a 3, right? So he's, and the 12 is, it's like 4 of these. It's like if you start out at this beginner level in like each of the suits, that will give you the 12 that you need to get that full information to move forward. But this is emotions. This is that nurturing water. It's like the lifeblood flowing. It's like he doesn't know how to get the water, so he's like, I'm just going to cut my hand and try to do that. It's like Audrey 2 in there or something. But this is something that is coming. It's not like I'm going to force myself to be emotionally nurturing and stable. It's like I'm going to practice nurturing and do my best because I know that I can learn how to do it. I have timing on my side. 11 is usually timing, and there's transformation happening. It's like the, where did I say there was a death? Oh, okay. So there's 11 here, there's 12 here, and there was this card and this one, bringing in that 13 cycle. So there's a lot of stuff that is shifting and ending and moving. 11, 11. Oh, okay, so now I see where okay. Yeah. These two cards together, I don't know if I said this already, brings the 21. I feel like I should say something else about this counselor card. It's like, the idea of a counselor is somebody who is wise, that will give you insight that you will then use to actually like do something with it. And even though these replacement knights are usually masculine, I feel like this is the same entity in this card that's sort of combined male and female person. Now they're all about perception, but here when they're trying to get you to comprehend something, to give you advice in a sort of caring and gentle manner, everything is like, it's like all fins and shells and stuff. And instead of wings, they've got horns, showing that they've got both parts of their brain tuned in, and they've got a big heart around this third eye. And then again, we have this reference to the moon. It's very aquatic. So, and again, I think it's all really pointing to a huge shift in what's going on, not only for people individually, but for society as a whole. I just want to see what these... Yeah, so on the bottom is the child itself. That's 1 in place of the magician. So this is that like rebirth of masculine energy, and it's in this, you know, yeah, I don't think I want to say anything else. What's on the bottom of this deck? A blessing for good work. Now number 18 is the moon card, but, and is that a kingfisher? That's giving me I was gonna say emperor vibe, but a little bit like King of Pentacles. It's like the moon will reveal that this young lad is the king. He will become the king very soon. He's like, yeah, I was about to say something else, and then I realized that would sound too Jesus-y, and I didn't want to go there. All right, a blessing for good work. Planting, growing, crown opening. Alright, this is really freaking long, and it's probably going to take longer than 4 minutes to upload it. It's almost midnight here. Well, it'll still be done before midnight Pacific, so I guess that's alright. If you want to buy a tarot reading from me, you can do such a thing. I have a list of what readings I have available, as well as all these contact points for merch and art and art. Those are all going to be, all that information is going to be in the description box of my infomercial video. And the link to that will be below this video, in the box of this video and in my comment that I post below it. I'm just picking up these cards. Okay, yes. I said good day, sir.